No, but this is actually very interesting, at least from my point of view. And this is also, it all starts in 07, 08 with the Lehman's crash. Because what happened in the Nordics, you have to remember that the Nordic market is very much an oligopole market. You have very few banks active in the market. So given the sheer size of the transaction market, and you have approximately 10 active banks at any given point in the Nordic market space. So what happened in post-Lehman was the banks started to look on the balance sheet, and they all realized they had lots and lots of real estate exposures. If you look on the Swedish banks, for example, Swedbank and Handelsbanken has close to 50% or even more of commercial lending on real estate lending on the balance sheet. And real estate lending is great to lend money on, but the problem is the ancillary business is very, very limited. So what the bank started to do was they're looking on the ancillary business and how can we pick up the returns on our real estate lending. And obviously started to help a lot of clients out to the capital markets. And this is very, very interesting because 10 years ago, the typical financing was a bilateral bank loan. Nowadays, you have an increasing amount of senior unsecured debt coming into the listed companies. You also have to remember that in Sweden alone, you have close to 25 listed real estate companies, and they have the access to the capital market in a very, very great extent. So that is typically what you see. We do not see many debt funds or that type of investors coming in. We saw that Allianz did a deal the other week in Sweden, the first public one, very interesting. You have 1 or 2 debt funds, but there is the capital market. I would say is the biggest new kid on the block.